Good morning. This is a COVID-19. This is our 10th day here in lockdown in New Zealand, and Mr.
Things
Campbell.
are still getting worse, and this is illustrated clearly by this number here. The official cases have doubled in the past week, so a doubling of cases. It was just over 500,000 last Friday. Now we're over 1 million, and this number we know is a massive underestimate. So
7 days, 500,000 to 1 million, massive underestimate. So 1 in 8,000 currently have it, and he says it's an underestimation. So
the modelling data we looked at yesterday, I know it's based on modelling data, but it's good quality modelling data. There's a full video on that yesterday if you want to catch up on that. That estimated that in 11 countries in Europe, there's between 7 and 43 million people infected already, up to the 28th of March. So that makes that figure look fairly ridiculous, because this is the number officially diagnosed.
One of the interesting things is that children, like 10-year-olds, can their parents ask that they must be tested, and it turned out that the kid had COVID. So all of a sudden you've got doctors who treat kids can be exposed to getting the virus, and if they're an old doctor, it could cost their lives. So these kids are like super spreaders, and they don't even know about it. So the world is in a fantastic situation now where grandkids can't really go and see their grandparents until they're actually tested.
Almost exclusively with testing, whereas the real numbers are way, way higher, we believe. And in Europe, we noted yesterday that that represents between 1.88 and 11.43% of these 11 European countries. Now, that's not so much the point. The point is that in most places the curves are still increasing, but we'll look at how that's panning out specifically. Now, I just want to mention this. I actually get quite a lot of mail about people saying, how dare you talk about the World Health Organization figures? The World Health Organization is a puppet for China and all this sort of thing. Well, let me try and be clear about what I think about this. The World Health Organization's performance this year has been absolutely lamentable. In my view, it's been appalling. They've been behind the curve virtually all the time. And I've just put up this famous tweet from the middle of January that they gave out. Preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus. Unbelievable. These are the people that are charged with collecting and collating information about World Health by the United Nations on my behalf and on your behalf. And then they didn't close flights down from China. And then they didn't declare a world emergency, in my view, quickly enough. Then they didn't declare a pandemic quickly enough. So we've got all these completely lamentable things, but what we have to remember is individual things that the World Health Organization say are actually said not so much by the World Health Organization, but by the many brilliant people that work for them and the massively well-informed people that work for them. So I think we have to differentiate between the performance of the World Health Organization. As an organization, I give them about 1 out of 10. And the individuals that work for it, some of whom are absolutely world-class, and I would give 10 out of 10. So we have to differentiate between that. So we can't say all advice is bad from the World Health Organization, because there's some world-class stuff there as well. In England, we have a curious saying you shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, if that makes any sense to you. So
it's interesting. So now we're starting to get analysis here in New Zealand, or let's say the United States. So if on the 19th of January 2020, the United States President shuttled travel into America and then tested for the month before of all travellers that had come into the country and that was still there through their flights and stuff, which would have stopped community spread. So what we had was the Mardi Gras that went on, 500,000 people for 3 days, and then going out to all the different locations. So same in New Zealand. We've had, at the moment, we've got the only reason it came here is through travellers, and we actually had the ability to shut, like Israel did. Just turn planes around, refuel them, and send them back to where they'd actually come from. But so that was it. Just completely locked the borders. You jump on a plane and it says cancelled, and then it stops, and that's where you are. So now we're getting expats coming back to New Zealand citizens and residents, and they're not locked down. My point is, if I came back late from overseas, I'd expect to have 14 or 21 days in, 5-star hotel with room service. If you wanted to nominate a person to come in and spend that time with you, a loved one for company, I suppose that could be arranged. But as a cost, just hire out the motel and hotel and just allow, because there's all of those accommodation places are unused because of the no million tourists running around. So we can definitely bring people in, and then a strict quarantine with officers and treat it like a lockdown. So that's my feelings on that.
We can cross that out. Let's be clear, there is human transmission. In case there's any ambiguity. Now, I got an email from someone that made quite a lot of sense, and I've been thinking about this since the Diamond Princess, actually. That there are many cases where this virus does seem to be spreading in air circulating systems. So air conditioning, air heating, air blowers by the doors of shops, and indeed air conditioning systems within vehicles. If they're not very well filtered, then it's worth thinking about that this virus could be spreading in air, in our mechanical systems. So if possible, if your building permits it, I would suggest you think about opening windows rather than turning on air conditioning. Just something to think about there. I think.
Yeah, so we've got the use of what do they call it? Supermarket.